So I just bungled this. I didn't press record. So I feel like a fucking idiot because I just had all these brilliant moments and the only thing this stupid Logitech cam thing was doing is taking photos. Anyways, the point of this blog is ownership and how we are in a relationship and how we are in our lives. Because when you look at the word ownership, you look at the possession of, the taking with you, the ability to command the presence upon. People don't own their houses. Very few people own their houses. Very few people own their cars. Very few people own virtually anything. But we have this idea that we have ownership of. Well, I'm paying my mortgage. I own my house. No, because at any moment you could lose your job. The bank can take your house. You're done, right? You're homeless. Uh, well, making car payments. Again, lose your job, lose your car less, right? So this idea of ownership is really just a bunch of bullshit. It's this status quo status symbol that, if you have wealth, aka, televisions, cameras, TVs, everything else, then you're a somebody. You're not a loser, you're not a drifter, and so I want you to look at what your relationships are like, because one of the things that I was saying is, how authentic are you in the relationship? Because ownership in a relationship gets even worse and trickier because you're trying to possess a feeling and some needs. And I mean, when I met my twin flame, I came out, all this shit came out, all the neediness came out because that's what I was. And that's what a lot of people are in a relationship. Because if your relationship ends tomorrow, like just flat out, boom, your partner wakes up and says, you know what? No, no, I'm done. And they have the means of which to just walk away, right? You sort out the legal shit later. But they walk away, go live with their parents, go back to their best friends, whatever, but they leave. Who are you in the next situation? Are you devastated? Are you irate in the devastation? Are you, basically, are you a mess for the next 6 months? Or are you, all right, well, that was wholly unexpected and wow, fuck. All right, well, got some shit to sort out, but it's Tuesday and I gotta deal with life until Friday. So I'm just gonna, these are the questions you have to ask. Are you the guy crawling under the couch, hiding with a bottle of scotch? Not just guy, but are you the person grabbing the alcohol, crawling into a hole and hiding and wasting your emotion because it's over? Or are you the person who's like, okay, well, I've got to sort this out and I'm gonna, acknowledge for now that this, wow, that hurt. You know what I mean? This is the difference between people who truly own themselves and people who are invested in ownership. And invested in ownership is literally what we are taught to be because of our cars, because of our houses, because of our condos. Anything we're putting money into, we're investing in. Anything we're putting money into, we're probably under the auspice or under the entitled belief system that we own it. And so relationships are no different. I used to have an old saying that if there's no investment, there's no interest, and that was one of the things I talked about with my twin flame. Is that his investment in me was minimal, no matter how much I tried, and that's how I know I can sort of explain a lot of this is because when I met him, I wanted to possess him. I wanted to cut myself open and then put him inside of me and just like never let that go because the feelings I had were so intense. They were so mind blowing, and it was the first time I'd had these feelings I pretty much ever. I mean, maybe the first time the first guy I dated, kind of came close, but I don't remember. That was so long ago. But anyway, so I had done all these things where I just wanted to own that. I just wanted to continue to keep those feelings running. And I did everything I could to, you know, try to involve myself by pushing myself on my twin flame and making him, um, see me for who I was, not realizing that all I was trying to do is own him. All I was trying to do was own the relationship, own the feelings, own all of it. Hi, Bob. And he literally couldn't deal with it. Oh, hi. And he couldn't deal with it. So, he ran whatever. That's kind of what you do. It's called the runner. You push them away. But the first experience I had with a spirit guy was I was told I was needy, and I didn't understand until I was ready to make this vlog what the neediness all represented, and it all represented the idea of ownership. I mean, even my cats, who for the next few months are going back to the farm, their ownership. I get a lot out of my cats. I get love, I get attention, I get affection, I get the need to take care of something. You know, I get this emotional fulfillment. They get apparently get emotional fulfillment. They get their physical fulfillment as well in terms of food and a house and really good food. Um, because I like to treat my cats to organics, which makes them like super spoiled. But anyways, but so there's this symbiosis there, right? And that's what a relationship technically turns into is symbiosis. Like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. And a lot of people they want to invest in that relationship. So then they think of possession. They think of I mean, how many people are they don't let their partner look at other people. They don't let their partner talk to other people. They get jealous. They get this. They get that. All these different negative. All these emotions come up that basically say, I own you, so how dare you, so don't do it because I need this. So you now are trying to control and own someone against their own experience. And how many unhealthy relationships are going like that, and how many unhealthy relationships are out there where, there's lots of parts of us that are, it's not about like the cats and the symbiosis and all that stuff. It's more about basically ownership. It's about I'm going to possess you. I'm going to own you. You're going to be a part of me and you can't leave me. And so most people, when a relationship ends, they're fucking devastated. They are like toast. But it's not the relationship that they're upset about. It's now all of their needs and all of those disgusting emotion, negative, poor emotional feelings and judgments and characteristics are now left empty and void. And so now they're like, oh my God, what am I going to do to fill all these voids? So they're not really missing the person who just left them. They're missing the ability to fill those needs and voids and to not have that sense of deprivation. And so when you're talking about your relationship and you're looking at, what's going on with who you are, you have to look at, if my partner leaves me right now, where am I on the spectrum? Am I going to be okay for the rest of the week to just kind of get through the weekend and kind of blow off a lot of steam on, say, Friday and Saturday, get shit fucking drunk, smoke a lot of weed, party my ass off and just say fuck it, and then brush off and kind of shake through until Wednesday next week and really just get started the, following weekend where, I go back out, I try dating, I kind of try sleeping with someone, blah, blah, blah. Or are you the person who doesn't want to go out for the next month, doesn't want to, spend time with your friends, doesn't want to see other happy people, all that time watching Bridget Jones' Diary over and over and over again, or whatever, The Notebook, or whatever stupid movie you want to, gets your emotions going. For me, it was Brokeback Mountain for a while. Um, you know, but these are the things, like which spectrum are you? And that's what you need to look at is are you on this spectrum where you're able to shake it off and it's maybe a couple days, maybe a couple, a week, or are you on the other spectrum which needs a whole lot of mental emotional help and you're devastated and destroyed because you don't realize that it's not really the person that's the problem. It's the fact that you have all of these deep unconscious beliefs and patterns that no longer can be fulfilled by someone that you had in your life, however you had them. And I mean, with my twin flame, that's pretty much what happened to me. That's what was going on. Is I was like, this is the person that will be my person. This is the right person. And yeah, I destroyed it. I met the one, and when I met the one, I was like 25, and I just stopped seeing this other guy, and this other guy was a bit of a douche. And so all of the things that I used to be in terms of attentive and call, I wanted to get to know the guy. I wanted to I would call, I'd want to talk, I'd want to. So I had all these positive aspects to myself, and yet I dated one person who made me put them all on the back shelf, and then I met a person who I should be putting all this effort out into and I'm not because I'm afraid that it's going to be just like the douche that I just left, right? And that's the mistake we keep making is leaving our authenticity because of other people. And so when you get to the point where the spectrum is that you're the person who's like totally devastated, a month of like, straight up alcoholism and drug abuse because you want to feed the pain, then you've lost your authenticity and you may not even have ever known your authenticity, but what you've lost is your own emotional clarity and well-being. And you need to figure out how to get to the person who's okay with, wow, that sucks and shit, and I got to deal with this and figure this out. But all right, I'll get there, and kind of just shakes it off and works with it. Because a lot of people out there are not, they're on the alcoholic drug addict spectrum when it comes to when the relationship ends. And I'm not talking just because it's been 10 years or it's been 5 years or it's been this or it's been that. I'm talking about the fact that y'all just emotionally are reacting that way. Y'all are just, because you're all believing that there's a level of ownership in this relationship. And like I said, if you are born alone and you die alone, there is no fucking ownership nowhere that you can have that's ever going to fulfill any need other than what you can fulfill for yourself. So think about that as you're, working on your relationships. And if you had a twin flame problem and it didn't work out, and all these other things, this is where you need to focus: is how much ownership do you believe that you are entitled to? Because we're not entitled to jack shit. But how much emotional support and all this other stuff that we put on other people do you think you're entitled to? Because once you start sorting all of that out and where you would be on the spectrum of where if my partner left me, once you start looking at that, that's where you're going to grow. That's where you're going to start being able to be like, okay, wait a minute. I got these character flaws where I need to work on this, and I got this going on, and I should probably look at that, and on and on and on. But if you don't look at that, then when that person leaves, you're devastated, and it's not you that's devastated. It's all those unconscious and negative emotional experiences that will come up and be like, you're fucked up again. You're alone. You're gonna die alone. You're gonna be alone. But that's where you got to stop, because all that shit's bullshit. Because really, what you're saying, and I really need to tie this off, is the minute you slide in there and you're like, fuck, this is gone, I'm over, it's over. You start saying anything about I'm not dating nobody more, I ain't doing this no more, I ain't. You start saying that shit. Well, then what you're basically saying is, dear universe, I don't believe in you. Dear universe, I don't think that there is going to be something better than I believe today. And that's where you're going to fail yourself, because you're now going to put out into the universe, I can't get past this. I can't get better than this. This isn't going to get better, because that's bullshit. Every time I have been afraid to let go, the universe says, all right, now that you got a vacancy, we're going to fill it up. We're going to bring you a traveler. We're going to bring you someone to fill in that vacancy. And I don't necessarily mean someone being literal someone. I mean metaphorically someone. I mean someone, something, somehow is going to come along, fill up that vacancy, and you're going to be like, damn, this shit is wild. And you're going to be like, I never, ever, ever thought I would get to this moment. And there you motherfucking are in that moment, happier for the pain of loss and letting go. Because, bitch, letting go ain't easy, but it's got to be done. And letting go, if you can let go within the present moment where you are no longer trying to own shit, well, that letting go just gets a lot easier. Peace and love, everybody.